Colonel James Withers Sloss, Arthur Page Sloss Sr., Arthur Page Sloss Jr. There are a few names that define Birmingham and its history. For generations, Sloss has been one of those names. Colonel James Withers Sloss, Arthur Page Sloss Sr., and Arthur Page Sloss Jr. Each shaped Birmingham in a multitude of ways, many of which can still be seen and felt today.
The Slosses have had an impact on Birmingham ever since the city's beginnings.
The family's Birmingham legacy started with Colonel James Withers Sloss and with a railroad.
He was a railroad man, and he was brought to Birmingham to help sort of join the team to try to birth the city, and he was successful. What I didn't know is there was actually sort of a competition going on with Colonel Sloss and another man who was trying to push the railroads closer to Chattanooga, and they were like, wild, wild west. They were optioning properties, and they finally came down to sort of, confrontation, and he was able to convince the main line to come here to Birmingham.
The railroad allowed Birmingham to firmly establish itself in the industrial world of the late 19th century and post significant growth in the decades that followed, earning its moniker, the Magic City.
I think it birthed a city. That's why we're here, because we really don't have a river, and we have to have a transportation system to move goods. So at that time, without the railroad, there was no city. And I think he was really instrumental and helpful in making that happen.
Beyond the railroad, James Withers Sloss also constructed pig iron furnaces, including the legendary Sloss furnaces, that still bear the family name as a National Historical Site. They remain an iconic feature of Birmingham's skyline.
He was a visionary, and he was a good communicator, and he had had a successful career really before he came to work in Birmingham. So I think that he was able to lead and help get things started. Along, again, there was a whole team of people that made this place happen, but I think he was one of those people.
History tells us that he was a visionary trailblazer. He made things happen.
2 generations later, another Sloss would make his mark on Birmingham.
My grandfather, I remember because I spent lots of time with him, which is how I got to love real estate. He also loved the city, just a passion for our city. But he was kind of tough. He was cute, and he had a funny sense of humor. Everybody loved him. But, he would tell you what to do, when to do it. He was a dictatorial guy. He just said, we're doing this, we're going that way, get up, let's go. And you did it.
Working with Everett Shepard, Arthur Page Sloss Sr., better known as Pete, was a pioneer of real estate development in Metro Birmingham, constructing neighborhoods and retail projects that set the stage for the area's evolving growth in the age of the automobile.
He was a smart, successful businessman who left his mark on Birmingham.
He also incorporated design and architecture from his travels into his projects, creating some timeless buildings that continue to define Birmingham's style. Those include the Shepard Sloss Building, Highland Plaza, and 5 Points West, the first shopping center in Alabama.
His real claim to fame was he built 5 Points West Shopping Center, which was the first shopping center, certainly in Alabama, probably in the Southeast. He started in 1939 because he had a vision that cars, everything was centered downtown Birmingham, and he felt that there would be a need to start building additional stores and shopping with cars would begin. So he worked hard for many, many years to convince merchants to leave downtown. And then our life's work, my dad's and mine, was to try to convince people to come back to the city center. So it's been an interesting full circle around built environment.
Arthur Page Sloss Jr. would soon join his father in the real estate world, and the two of them were a dynamic duo. Key projects included neighborhood housing developments in Titusville, Homewood, and Mountain Brook, and further developments at 5 Points West. The father and son worked side by side for the next 25 years.
He and my grandfather were one was kind of harder and one was softer, but they really complemented each other. And I think they're working together. We used to call them Pete and Repeat.
After Arthur Sr. passed away, Arthur Jr., also known as Pete, teamed with his daughter Kathy, building and developing a tremendous portfolio of iconic properties, including Ridge Park, Park Place, and Pepper Place.
He had his father's entrepreneurial spirit. And Petey had a great sense of adventure.
My father had a gentler style of leadership. And again, for my joy has been, or was all my life, working with him for so many years. And he was just always supportive and was a great listener and, sort of let you run with ideas and then contributed in so many ways as well.
More than a century after the Sloss family first made its mark in Birmingham, the impact of these individuals can still be felt and seen in the Magic City.
I think they helped build the city. I think, there is built environment, which is really the passion in our family. But I think that how we have helped build the city is important. And I think that this city is important to the world.